My ex-husband and I are divorced. We share custody of our 2 preschool children. He's been struggling with health issues for about a year now. He had surgery scheduled and asked if I'd let him have the day before the surgery, but I politely declined since it was my time to have them, and any switch in schedule might affect my work. On the day of his surgery, his girlfriend called me from the hospital and put him on the phone. He asked how I was doing, basically his go-to method to ask for something, then asked if I could let the kids FaceTime him before he went into surgery. I said I was at work, but he asked if I could take a break, go home, and let the children FaceTime him for 10 minutes. I said I was sorry, but refused. I promised I'd have the kids see him post-surgery, but he started arguing. He said it was unfair enough that I didn't let him have the kids the day before, and that he felt that FaceTiming them before the surgery was reasonable. I had to end the call since there was so much commotion for my coworkers to hear. His girlfriend called back, but I refused to respond. I got off work at 7 p.m., and his girlfriend called asking if I was happy. She said he cried after the call ended, and I refused to do what he asked. She called me unbelievable and spiteful for not considering my kids, if not their dad, and what he's going through. I said I wouldn't interrupt work when I was already busy. She said that I was making excuses and that she felt sorry for the kids, implying I was being deliberately hurtful in my behavior, which I'm not. It's just that I had to work. Am I the idiot for not leaving work and going home so that he could FaceTime with the kids for 10 minutes? I get that your ex is going through surgery, but this situation and reaction seem a bit manipulative on his part. I mean, you made it pretty clear that you won't switch due to your scheduling. Then he feels okay to call you while you're working, to have you leave to go home for a 10-minute FaceTime? I don't know how that seems reasonable. You are not the idiot. You are the idiot. I believe you did this out of spite towards your ex-husband. It's perfectly reasonable to ask to see his children before going in for surgery. And at the absolute least, you could have had the caretaker set up a phone call. OP, you'd better believe that your kids will pick up on this kind of petty vindictiveness as they get older and will eventually resent you for it. Yeah, roles reversed. You would have begged to talk to your kids. What was your plan if something had gone wrong and your ex died or was seriously incapacitated? Did you consider how it would affect them not to get a final look at their father while he was lucid? Clearly the children were the main thing on his mind, as they should be when going into such a scary situation. Disagree. Unless it was a life-threatening affair, this surgery, which was not mentioned, he let his girlfriend overstep her boundaries with parenting. It is, in fact, none of her business. You should stop answering her calls and notify your ex that you'll only talk to him now. He was probably stressed about the situation, but it's no reason to talk to your kids and make them sad and have them ask questions that you have no answer to. He can tell them all about daddy's surgery once he's in better shape. Why couldn't whoever was watching the kids have them FaceTime their dad? It's not like a toddler and a young child were at home alone. Why not call a babysitter? Also, couldn't he have come by your house on the day before the surgery to see them? While he didn't have to take them, he could still spend time with them. Not leaving work because he didn't plan ahead doesn't make you the idiot. You are the idiot, not for leaving work to FaceTime, but for not letting him have the kids the day before, just because it was your day. Seriously? Couldn't exceptions be made? What if he didn't make it out of surgery, and you stole the last moments your kids could have had with their father? OP, it'll serve you right if you're put in the same situation one day. I don't wish ill will on people, but what you did was heartless. I don't care what your past is with your ex. Your kids don't deserve that. I, 29 female, married my husband, John, 33, last year. He has 3 kids from his first marriage, all tweens. My husband was divorced when we met, and sadly, his ex-wife passed while we were in the stages of preparing to introduce me to his kids. We waited longer than we had planned due to the kids' fresh grief and the fear that they'd have a negative response to so much happening in their lives. When I was introduced the first time, it was awkward. The kids were less than enthusiastic, and after an hour, the oldest spoke up and said they didn't want another mom. I told them that was good because I could never replace their mom. I told them I really liked their dad and wanted us to be cool and that I never needed to be more than their dad's girlfriend or wife if we took that step in the future. I told them they could tell anyone they needed to that I was not their mom and I would do the same. Then we spent 2 hours talking about their mom and how much they missed her. I met my husband's parents and siblings a few months after I met his kids, and it went pretty well. But fast forward a few more months, and the kids were hearing how good it was for them to have a mom again. And I stepped in and corrected them that I was not the kid's mom. My husband was not in the room then, but he repeated what I said when he came in. This upset my husband's parents, who felt I should be proud of the mom title. My husband pointed out that my kids had not given me that title, so it didn't matter. His parents told him he should encourage them to head in that direction, that their mother could no longer finish the job and someone had to. He said it wasn't up for discussion. Ever since I married my husband, more people have called me their mom. The kids correct it every time, and so do I. We talked about it, and they admitted it bothered them because it felt like people just wanted to forget their mom. So I made a point of looking up old home movies for us to watch together so they'll know that she could never be forgotten as long as they're around, and as long as I'm around to help them remember her. My husband's parents hosted a barbecue for the whole family, and several people spoke to me about being my stepkid's mom. I would mention that I wasn't, and then my husband's mom cornered me and said it was about time that I knocked that off because the kids will never warm up to me if I put that distance between them. And imagine how they'll feel once my baby's here, currently pregnant. I told her the kids do not want or need me to be their mom, but they do need their mom to be remembered. I told her I was proudly their not mom, who helped ensure that their mom was never erased and that the kids would be a whole lot happier if people stopped trying to make me something I'm not. She told me I would never be respected for my attitude towards the kids and for correcting others. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. This is no one else's business but the children's. I hope one day that they're ready to see you as another mom. But even if they never do, the fact that you will always be there for them means the world, and you've done nothing but put their feelings first, and refusing to accept the title until they're ready is a fantastic move. Mother-in-law says no one will respect you, but you have the respect of the kids, who are the only party that matters. You're handling a horrible situation beautifully. They had a mom, and from the sound of it, they loved her dearly and missed her horribly. So you're honoring the kids in their relationship with their mother by not overstepping. So many step-parents should take a page from your book. My 37 male, wife 37, is pregnant with our first bio child. We tried to have a baby in our 20s, went through fertility treatments, and nothing worked. So this pregnancy was a huge surprise and is a high-risk pregnancy. My wife is 20 weeks now. My brother and sister-in-law have 3 kids. Unfortunately, sister-in-law was pregnant again this summer and had a loss at 21 weeks. They were obviously devastated, and we felt awful for them. My sister-in-law talks about her loss a lot, which is understandable, but it has made my wife anxious. So I first asked my brother if he and sister-in-law, could just stop bringing the issue up in front of my wife. He said sure and stopped, but sister-in-law didn't. So I asked her too, and she said that she would try. She didn't stop. Yesterday, they visited us with the kids to stay for a couple of days. At lunch, my sister-in-law said to my wife, 20 weeks now, huh? I remember feeling the baby at 20 weeks. Sadly, we lost him at 21, and my wife had a panic attack. So wife and I left the room, and I came back 30 minutes later and just lost it at my sister-in-law. I told her to shut the heck up about her pregnancy loss. I feel like an idiot. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. At some point, sister-in-law needs to be able to read the room. You do not tell a pregnant woman, oh, this is right where I was when I had my loss, because it is at best tone deaf and at worst cruel. It may be my brain immediately jumping to the worst possible conclusion, but I can't help but wonder if maybe sister-in-law is doing this on purpose, hoping OP's wife will get a loss too, so they can both feel the same pain or something. I don't think she's consciously hoping for it, but I think she sort of has it in her head that it'll happen and is trying to put herself in a position to have OP's wife lean on her when it happens. I'm actually a little concerned about what she might do once they hit 22 weeks and OP's wife is still doing just fine. I agree. It is understandable to bring it up a few times, and I empathize with sister-in-law, but it's not appropriate or kind. Sister-in-law also has 3 children. While it sounds like this is OP's first, she knows what it's like. She was also specifically asked not to bring it up. It reads like she's trying to hurt OP's wife, or at least to drag her down. It's like a grieving parent constantly using other children's birthday parties to bring up how old their child would be today. Wrong place, wrong time. Sister-in-law needs a different outlet for her feelings. I, 21 female, have struggled with my weight my entire life. I'm not talking about baby weight. I mean that I was 200 pounds at 5'1" when I was 16. For as long as I can remember, I felt uncomfortable in my own body. When I went to college, I decided it was time to change. It took years of grueling work and education, but I'm finally at a healthy weight. I'm terrified of going back. The only problem is that my mom, 55, has tons of family photos around the house. Every time I go home, I'm reminded of my life's most emotionally difficult time. I begged my mom to at least take down the photos that only had me in them, but she refused. I decided to take matters into my own hands. I gradually put stickers over my face in family pictures every time I visited. She didn't notice, so I took it up a notch. I scanned the original pictures with my phone. I paid one of my friends to Photoshop them afterward. They were pretty obvious, but I was hoping nobody would notice at a glance. After the swap, I took the originals to my apartment. I got away with this 2 times, but I got caught in the act with the 3rd. My mom and I got into a huge argument about it. She said I had no right to take those photos or vandalize the others because it wasn't my house. I pointed out that I only took my photos and only put removable stickers on the others. She was still furious. I'm banned from the house until I give the originals back. The rest of my family's been pressuring me to give in because Thanksgiving is coming up. However, I refuse to do so because I don't think I'm in the wrong here. Am I the idiot? Edit. I suspect my mom wouldn't remove those photos for a deeper reason. She's obese, and I think she might resent my weight loss. I'm not ashamed of my past self, and I don't hate my past self. However, I don't like those pictures because they remind me of my constant physical pain at that weight. When I see them, it feels like reliving it all over again. She's obese and has made weird comments about my weight loss. Ever since I lost weight, she calls me vain a lot. One time we were sitting for dinner with my aunt. My aunt and I were discussing my weight loss, and my mom suddenly said, "Okay, I think that's enough time spent stroking your ego." Another time she insisted on giving me a coat that was 3 times too big. When I said no, she asked if I thought I was too good for it. You are the idiot. This really isn't a healthy level of fixation on your past weight. You're literally committing thefts to try to remove these memories. Please see a therapist to work through your feelings about this healthily. This long, complex, and extended campaign to erase your past self instead of coming to peace with it is not healthy. Your mom's allowed to have pictures of you when you were younger. I don't believe you're at a healthy weight. You're too obsessed. Your post mentions grueling work and education to achieve this healthy weight. People at healthy don't do crap like this. Stop projecting your eating disorder on your mother. This might be the biggest stretch I've ever seen, and that's saying something. There's nothing in OP's post to suggest that they're not at a healthy weight. So where did you get that from? Losing weight is grueling. That's not an outrageous thing to say, and that whole section of text is in the past tense. I'm really shocked by the judgment here. I was surprised by the comments as well. Wow, her mother should be more understanding of her emotional health. And there is such a thing as consent to share photos, at least in my family. You are not the idiot. They're pictures of you and make you uncomfortable. She should understand that out of simple respect. My mother got furious with me every time I tried to lose weight, then mocked me for being chubby. You did an incredible life-changing thing. You're in a much better place than you were, and your mother tries everything to bring you down. That's awful. Sadly, those photos are hers. It would be best if you gave them back, but you can make it clear You won't visit until all of them are taken down, and stick to it. Then after the second or third big party, you don't show up because of the photos. The people around your mother will force her to take down those photos. Update. I'm going to take some of the advice given here. I'm going to go ahead and burn the pictures I have and give my mom an ultimatum between me and my solo pictures. If she chooses the pictures over me, that says more about her than me. I, male 31, live with my wife, 30. We have 2 kids, a young female child and a female toddler. We've recently had a bit of financial difficulty as our rent got increased and my job has been cutting my hours. We aren't struggling to survive, but we need to count our coins before buying any luxuries. I managed to get a second job to make up for the cut hours, but we still need to be very mindful about where our money goes, and I've had a few discussions with my wife about it. My wife is a stay-at-home mom and she enjoys it. Our eldest goes to school from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. My job covers childcare for our youngest, and she goes to daycare from 8 a.m. to 2 p.m. 3 days a week. I take the kids to school and daycare, and my wife picks them up. I noticed unusual transactions from our shared bank account, and I asked my wife about them. She explained that she's been taking our youngest to ballet lessons in the afternoons after daycare once a week, and each class is 30 pounds. I got annoyed because my wife didn't discuss this with me, and 30 pounds a week is quite a bit of money. I asked her to stop taking her to the lessons because we can't afford them, but suggested she look for cheaper activities, preferably something both of our children could enjoy. My wife protested and said that our youngest really enjoys ballet. She called me an idiot and said that I was depriving my daughter of something that could help her future and that we could find a way to afford them. I called the lessons a waste of money and told my wife that we're partners and she shouldn't spend large amounts without discussing it, especially when we don't have a lot as it is. My wife started crying and said something that makes our child happy isn't a waste of money. She slammed the door into our room, which was the end of that conversation. Since then, my wife hasn't really been speaking to me, and I wonder if I was the idiot here. OP, you are not the idiot. To be honest, working mom, I don't get why your youngest is in childcare if she's a stay-at-home mom. She can get a job and then pay for the ballet herself. Problem solved. Nowadays, with the rising cost of living, being a stay-at-home mom is a luxury, and to have 3 days of childcare that she's not even using by going to work, just sitting around using electricity, my blood would boil. Ballet lessons and other extracurriculars are lovely, but you're a partnership, and she's not pulling her weight here. I'm just trying to grasp what a ballet class for a toddler even looks like. My friend's kid went at that age and had a great time. It costs 5 pounds a session though. 30 pounds a time is a lot for that kind of activity. The wife's being ripped off. Is she? Or is she pocketing the change for spending money? Or is she spending it with someone else? This would explain why she's so against getting a job and needs all this free time. My wife enjoys being a stay-at-home mom. I bloody bet she does.